Hello, everybody. It's about that time. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today, thanks a bunch for stopping by. Today's beer comes from Four Quarters Brewing. This is their S'mores Stout. These guys are up in Vermont. This was sent to me by my brother Greg, and he says here on his note, pick this out at the brewery on the trip to Vermont. And this is a 9%er from what I see here. And it has 9% on the can. There is no date. These guys evidently are not dating their beers. As far as I'm concerned, they need to step up to the plate. I don't care if it's brewery only release or not. Plenty of other breweries that are brewery only release date their stuff. So if you're going to be in a craft beer business, Four Quarters, you need to date your shit. That's as plain as I can put it, but it's just my opinion. Without a vintage, of course, it's a 9% Imperial Stout. It's not going to go bad anytime soon, but I'd like to know what vintage it is in case I want to do a vertical. I don't do many of those anymore, but want to know that. At least put the vintage on it. This is the 2019 edition, 2018, 2017 edition. So they choose not to do that, so that's probably going to cost them a grade point. I don't care if it's brewery only release. Does not matter to me. I want that information. Either get a damn dating machine and stamp the bottom of it, or put it on the label. My opinion. So, let's get on with this one. We'll jump over to Untapped, and they say Imperial Milk Stout with milk chocolate chips, graham crackers, and marshmallows. And when they say milk stout, that means it's been brewed with lactose, which is an unfermentable sugar, which leads to a little bit nicer, sweeter back end, where the yeast can't eat all that fermentable sugar up. So it usually is a little creamier and a little sweeter on the back end than when they don't use it, and the yeast eats everything up and it's kind of dry. We don't have the IBUs. A lot of these breweries keep that information secret. I don't know why they would own a stout, but they do. So 9%, we don't know what vintage it is. He picked it up at the brewery, so it's probably as fresh as it can be, but I wish they would do some kind of dating, or vintage anyway. So, big 16-ounce can, let's get it popped open. It is a plain Jane silver can, big hits on this. So they are concentrating on what's inside the can rather than printing up a bunch of fancy cans. And it is very well used. That big hiss you heard means this very, very carbonated. And we've already got a finger and a half of head on that pour. So let me ease off on this pour. But it is kind of overcarbonated in my opinion. And that's just my opinion, guys. But as you can see, as easy as I'm pouring it, way too much carbonation on this beer, guys. We got more than 3 fingers of head on that pour, and that's basically unnecessary in my opinion. So they've got a carbonation issue going on there. They need to let this thing ferment out a little bit more before they put it in the can. That's just my 2 cents. I have brewed beer before, and I know what the deal is, guys. You shouldn't have that much carbonation on a 9% Imperial Stout. So to me, it has fermented a little bit more since it was canned, and it probably could have let it ferment out a little bit more. But that's just my 2 cents. Big, great big, huge bubbles on the side of the glass here, guys. But I do think it's a a little overcarbonated for what it is. Usually 9%ers don't produce that kind of carbonation, so I don't think it's going to stick around long as big as those bubbles are. So let's get it to the nose. Big time roasted malt. Maybe a slight hint of some graham crackers or chocolate. Black molasses. But the a little bit of cinnamon graham crackery aroma is standing out more than anything else, other than the roasted malt. And as you can see, it's dissipated pretty quick with those big, huge bubbles. So smells pretty good. Let me see if I can get any more in there without it before I put it to the lips. And we'll try to get it all in there before I go off camera. But guys, to me, it is definitely overcarbonated. We still got 2 fingers of head on that. So, smells good. I'm definitely getting the graham cracker, a little bit of cinnamon, and the hints of chocolate. So, let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Greg. Very tasty. I'm getting the same thing on the taste as I am on the nose. Roasted malt, cinnamon, graham crackers, slight hint of some chocolate. The chocolate's not overbearing or overpowering. More of the cinnamon graham cracker taste than chocolate. Very pleasant beer. To me, the alcohol seems to be very, very well hidden. So it's a very well made beer. Even though I do think it is a little overcarbonated. They probably could have let it ferment out just a little bit longer. But tasty. So let's see if I can get the back end pour in there without producing another 3 fingers of head. Very creamy. Very creamy. But like I said, I do think it's a tad bit overcarbonated. I think they could have let it ferment out just a little bit longer. A couple days, maybe a week longer, to get all that fermentable sugar eating up and fermented. So, very nice looking beer. A very tasty beer. Hopefully we're going to get some more chocolate on that because they're calling it a s'mores beer or a s'mores stout, where you're going to get the graham cracker, cinnamon, and the chocolate. That's what a s'more is all about, right? I mean, anybody's been around a campfire and done the graham cracker and the marshmallows and that. Not getting a whole lot of vanilla or marshmallow on the taste right now, but we're going to let it come up to room temperature while I sip on it, and we'll come back and give it a grade. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping up for a little bit now. I don't think it's quite to the top-notch range that a s'mores beer should have or usually has. The chocolate is kind of subdued to me. I am getting the cinnamon graham cracker taste, but the chocolate is a little bit absent here on this one. So I'm not getting the chocolate notes. They are a little bit there, but it is not coming up to be a s'mores beer to me. And that them not putting any kind of vintage or dating on their beer, even though it was purchased at the brewery, it's probably as fresh as it could be. But we've seen the carbonation that we had. It is all subsided now since it's come up to room temperature, but still I don't think it fermented out quite as much as it should have. They should have left it in the fermentation tanks a little longer, but that's just my opinion though, guys. I'm not the head brewer there. It may have been where they wanted it to be. But I've had better s'mores beers than this, so a little disappointed there, but it is a tasty beer. For a 9%er, the alcohol is well hidden, but it's a little lackluster to be a s'mores, and they've got it, and then this is called S'mores Stout. So not quite up to, definitely not a 10 beer, probably not even an A beer. So, mild choke. It's an A- beer for me, guys. I'm gonna give it a 90. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 3.96, which is in their B plus range. So I'm giving it a little bit better grade than those guys are. But I could just as easily gave it a B plus, especially since it has no dating or vintage on the can. But it is a very enjoyable, and it is a well-made beer as far as the alcohol being well hidden. For a 9%er, drinks like a 6.5 to 7%er to me. But not quite enough chocolate notes to match up with the cinnamon graham cracker taste that I'm getting. So, over to Untapped, they have it at 4.08, which is in their A- range also. Me and Untapped are giving it A-, where Beer Advocate is giving it a B+. But I'm just barely giving it a 90, which is just barely into the A-. And I could just as easily gave it a B+. Not the best s'mores beer that I've ever had, I will say that, but it is very tasty and glad I got to try it. So once again, thanks to Greg for picking it up at the brewery and sending it to me. I do think it should have been left in the fermentation barrels a little bit longer, or tank a little bit longer than what they did, because it was definitely overcarbonated when I poured it. So with that being said, if you've had this from 4 Quarters Brewing, their S'mores Stout, let me know what you think. Until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.